How are you? I am really well. I am so happy to be here and to be able to share with you a lot that I have seen and experienced over the last week. Some of which is really kind of mind-blowing. But first and foremost, I wanted to really make sure that we got into this work and into these videos the exact stages and steps that's required to abandon the mind and enter heart consciousness. This will change your life. This will deny your mind fear and complaint. Because when you get into heart consciousness, those things are no longer accessible to you at all. And it's like the biggest like mind trip ever. And how you can inhabit yourself completely anew, right? To be within yourself without access to fear or complaint will change your life, right? So let's do that. I had originally said that you can't get there through thinking, and while I originally kind of did get there through thinking, I just want to clarify that that's a clunky way to find that path. I'm so blessed for having been challenged in this way to have to find real steps that you can break down in order to go through this process, right? So follow these steps. This is a clearer, easier way to find your heart consciousness without thinking, right? It's a more direct path rather than what I did in order to get there, which was kind of, just a lot of unknowns, trial and errors, and, mistakes. But eventually I got there, didn't I? Right? So let me share with you what I've learned in terms of how to get there more quickly, okay? And this is how you get there. Right? This is how you arrive to the lens of your heart to experience life without fear, ever. It's like the craziest thing. So please, if you can't get it right away, keep trying, because this is how we win, right? This is how we win. We light ourselves up, we abandon fear, and we get really clear on where we're headed, right? And if we get enough people up to this level, right, to abandon fear and complaint, imagine how differently our country would run. As an example, right? So let's do it. These are the steps. This is how you clearly abandon the mind and adopt your heart consciousness. You ready? Okay. So the first thing that you're going to do is just blank yourself to nothing. That's why meditation is so important, right? To inhabit yourself without being in yourself. Vacate yourself from your body. There is nothing but stillness and a blank mind that has a similar vibration. Focus there, right? On emptying yourself from yourself. Then when you vibrationally get as still and as quiet as you can, and that's going to be different on different days, and don't fight that. Just acknowledge what is for you today. If internally you're still chattering a little bit, just go ahead and silence that. Abandon it, right? Abandon it. Let it go. Watch it drift away. Now that you are completely a blank slate, think about childhood wonder. Think about something that lit you up as a child. Think about fireflies at night. Think about your favorite treat. Think about your favorite adventure, right? Can you remember that? Can you remember what that's like to light yourself up from that place? Who was your best friend? What was the best thing that you did? What were the things that you were proud of? And and you couldn't wait to share? Where was your magic? Then once we start to light ourselves up with childhood wonder, right? That glow that we find there, lean that towards trust, right? That trust in the universe that you had when you were a child. There was no worry. All of that could slip away so you could inhabit yourself with magic and run in a field with fireflies, right? And see the magic in everything, everywhere. Head in that direction. Can you feel its warmth, right? The warmth that goes from childhood magic and wonder to trust, to trusting in whatever placed all of that magic around you is conspiring for your highest and best. Head towards trust. Can you feel what it feels like to have it just living in you a little bit? Now can you dial that up to feel what it feels like to have that inhabiting your everything? And when you open up to that place, when you find that place, when you're that open to what wants to be, right? It's just trust. It's just placing all of your trust in what is and understanding that the magic that you saw as a child still exists before your eyes when you adopt the correct lens. And that's a lens of trust. Trust in the universe. It has your back, and every crappy thing that it's taken you through has been for a reason. Find those reasons. Find why that was conspiring for your highest and best. Don't fight it. Welcome the information that lives there without resistance. What did you find out about yourself there? What did you find out that you can trust in those angels who took you to the depths of your being? We celebrate those people. We celebrate those people who brought us to meet ourselves in a way that otherwise we never would have experienced. And that is extracurricular activity. And the more extracurricular activity that you have been taken through in your lifetime is the faster that you can elevate through this work. That's required. That's required. That's not nothing. And there is a real purpose that pain has served in your life, and it's up to you to find out what it is. So when we adopt 1,000% trust in the universe, right? And we understand that everything that's ever happened to us has been conspiring for our highest and best, for our success. We may not understand it. It's probably impossible for our puny little human minds to wrap itself around the concepts that the intelligence of the universe is working with, right? Trust that everything is as it should be. Everything. And then start to open yourself up more from there. It's beyond childhood wonder. This is trust in the universe. It's one of the most powerful things that is, right? And when we get there to that 1,000% trust in the universe, keep chasing it until fear slips away, until complaint slips away, and then start to add in a layer of honoring self, of trusting in self, in trusting that you know what you know. Trust that when you say that you can get there to a place of trust in the universe that will see complaint and fear slip away, know that that is true for you. Know that is true for you. Everyone can do this, right? And so when we start to add in a layer of honoring self, right? Of self-honor in this work on top of the trust layer that we're standing on. That starts to open us up even more, right? Because by honoring ourselves, we find a portal to honoring the universe and honoring what is, in honoring the evolution of what it took in order to get us here. And by honoring self, by extension, we honor creation, right? And keep chasing that place until you open up more. And you just keep opening yourself up more and more and more, and leaning yourself into that everything is happening for your highest and best. Trust that. It's there. It is there. And you can get to this place where you will light yourself up, and all it takes is curiosity and honesty. That's it. Curiosity of what's going on up here, what's written on my heart, what's going on in my guts right now, right? It's in honoring all of those systems that we've been given within ourselves, which are tools to take down fear, right? Because pain serves a very real purpose in our life, right? It's not a negative thing. It's just information that's delivered to you in a very electric way, right? To get your attention. Oh, hello, it's burning. Pick your hand up off the flame, right? It's not a bad thing if you understand its purpose. What is the purpose of the pain in your life? It's there to deliver information to you. Are you listening? Fear and pain are optional once you start addressing them as information and not just trying to stonewall it from your life. It's there to inform you of what's going on and what needs to be adjusted, right? So we welcome pain. We look at those red flags and we look at the things that are super terrifying, and we get down into it to understand its purpose. I have been truly blessed by understanding that my greatest source of pain is also my greatest opportunity for growth. It's challenging, isn't it? Right? We all understand my position with faith communities, especially Christianity, right? If you go and join an organization that names me, my husband, and my relationship as an abomination, I don't have room for that in my life. You can't bring that anywhere close to me and expect for me to consider you to be a safe person. No way. We all understand how threatening and triggering Christianity is to me, and how much I've lost in terms of whole relationships that I've been denied access to because I'm a queer person. My life has been so different because I'm queer, right? I can't do anything about that. That's other people's choices and their interpretation of who I am to this world. Had I been born straight, my family would be at my weddings, both of them. Right? They'd have no problem showing up. But because I was marrying a man and not a woman, it was a 50-50 split as terms of who could cross that bridge to be there for me on that day. Right? So we understand how painful and how triggering and upsetting that is for me when my entire life I've been told I'm an abomination, or that I killed my dad because I was gay and he couldn't handle it. That didn't happen to my other siblings, but that happened to me, right? These are the choices and the judgments that my family members levy against me because I'm queer. So we all understand that is a very threatening way to live your life for me, based off of the people that I have had history with who belong to that community. They are unsafe, they are unloving, they are judgmental, they are cruel. We get that. But I can't move forward while still holding on to resentment to that community, can I? Because when you change from going, what's that? What's that? To, what's that? What's that on my heart? What's that that's going on inside of me? And the external world serves one purpose and one purpose only: to inform you of what needs to change within you. It serves no other purpose, right? And it takes a lifetime, well, I shouldn't say that. It, for many, has taken a lifetime to detach from that information, right? And to not be involved in what's going on out there, but rather get super involved with what's going on in here, in terms of staying home, in terms of being seated in self. Live in here, not out there. Live in here. So that everything that's going on in the world only serves to inform me of that, right? So when you live your life in that manner, you can't help but notice like your personal reactions to things and things that you are feeling are what you yourself are punching into your container, right? Remember our very first exercise, creating a solid container for ourselves to inhabit ourselves with, right? Your container of energy must be monitored 24/7. And when you see things that make you super angry or are super triggering to you, and you get like, just enraged with that, right? When you're living life in here, seated in self, you can't help but feel that you're doing that to yourself. And you're like, is this what I want? Because I'm making myself angry and I'm experiencing anger. And that is a choice. That is a choice. I don't have to go there. In fact, I can radically detach from all of this, can't I? All of this and all of the fear and all of the triggers is optional when you're seated in self and you get to the heart consciousness. Because all the craziness, right, you fully understand is happening for a reason, for a conscious reason beyond what we can understand, right? And it's beautiful. And even the most horrible things that are going on planet Earth, you can't even have a judgment on, right? Because you understand that it's operating at a pay grade above you and our simple, human ways and minds, right? And thoughts and judgments and all that. But that's the craziest thing, is when you get seated in self and you evolve to the heart consciousness, like so much of that stuff just is no longer even available to you. And if it is available to you, it becomes boring. You're like, really? Thoughts again? Like I don't know, like the whole thinking game, the game of thinking becomes boring. I know it's like the craziest thing ever, but when you truly are in your heart conscious, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful and addicting. And this is all you want to do, is just exchange your energy with what is, and know that to fight anything is to fight your own alignment. Be seated there. That's where personal power lives. That's where you become master and commander of you. That's where it happens, in that internal quiet and still. That's where you start to learn about your personal power and your sensitivities that you have been given that nobody else has. What is it? That's where I find my channeling work, my becoming the hollow bone in shamanism, so that I can be a direct portal to access information from beyond me. That's where I find it, in that very quiet place that's seated in self. And it comes through as an inkling, as a whisper, right? And so if you want to dial into your personal sensitivities and abilities to chase off-grid things or energy work that will blow the mind of others, that's where it is. But again, you can't hear it if you're in the fight, if you're seeing things as wrong, right? If you're up here. There's no quiet up here. There's no silence up there, right? And so that's why we meditate and we practice, right? Adopting ourselves as a blank slate to chase the cracking of ourselves open through childhood wonder. And when we get to that place and we start to light ourselves up through childhood wonder, we keep chasing that warmth and that glow into trusting the universe at 1,000%. And once we start to radiate from that place and fear and chatter starts to slip away, and we no longer have access to complaint, that's when things start to get interesting. So faith communities, they're my problem. Therefore, they are my portal. I understand that because of that intersection of energy, right, that I can't evolve the way that I want to unless I deal with this thing that keeps sticking in my craw, that keeps irritating, that keeps holding me down. It's holding me down, and that's my choice, right? Whether I want to continue to grow and elevate towards love, or if I want to hold on to my righteousness, right? Into my, thing against them, right? Because when you're operating against something, that's where you get energetic drag. You do not inhabit forward movement when you're inhabiting complaint, right? So if I'm working against the faith communities and against the Christianity and their bigotry, right? It's not that I don't have a reason to feel that way. I certainly do, right? The receipts are in. They have been terrible to me. Terrible. Terrible. I didn't deserve all that, but that's what I got. Why? Because when I came to this planet, I was looking to sign up for extracurricular activity. Why? Because I want to go there, right? And you can't do that without putting in a little extra work. So that's the extra work that I had to do, right? So the faith communities in Christianity, I'm getting really clear, are my portal, not my problem, right? They're my portal. And so I'm going to start working for their personal evolution a lot more in here. I'm going to start praying for them. I'm going to start welcoming the people who are of that community. And while I certainly don't understand how you can even bring yourself to talk to me with a straight face when you pray out of literature that names me as an abomination. But if, you have the ability to do those mental gymnastics and think that you're doing all right in the world and you want to do better, that being the hallmark, right? That you want to do better and that you want to retain your Christian faith while moving us forward. Awesome. I can find a place for you. I can work with that. I no longer will be refusing to admit anyone into the tent of Team Dale. Everybody will be welcome so long as you want to do better, and so long as you're willing to eradicate the bigotry wherever we find it. I'm not holding a judgment on you. I'm just saying we need to do better. We need to do a lot better. I'm sorry, but the open homophobia from the Bible must be removed, or Christianity must remove itself from the public eye. Those are our two options moving forward, right? So if you want to work with me in moving us towards love, right? There's a place for you on Team Dale, right? There really is. And I want to be more open about that and be more welcoming. I want this to be the biggest tent possible, right? Because who wins? The team with the least amount of judgment on others will win. And that's our only mandate, isn't it? Right? So we can celebrate that. We can wear our leathers and our jock straps and pride parade this thing into the future. That's where we're going, where everybody is welcome and celebrated, whoever they are. I'm not going to hold a judgment on anyone. If you want to do better and you're willing to eradicate bigotry, come on board, right? Even if you are seated in an openly homophobic institution, but if you want to do better and you want to change things with me, great. So I'm going to start working for the Christians, right? And I think, oh gosh, this is the most fun thing. So like after like the whole last, week or so that I've kind of been taking off, that I've still been working on my own, right? And some of the things that I have been shown are like total game changers, right? But that's the nature of this work, isn't it? You're always evolving and changing your position on things. And I have been shown I was accurate in saying that clarity is the empath's weapon of choice. Remember me saying that? Because I was still functioning from the ego that needed to weaponize something in order to get back at or to attack someone. None of those concepts are aligned with love, by the way. Are they? Right? Getting back at people, weaponizing things, right? So like that whole mindset, that whole like band of being a spiritual asshole, which is what it is, right? We need to root that out. We need to get rid of that. We need to be working for people and their highest and best, whether we understand them or not, right? And so clarity, and this is the best part ever, I was shown that, yes, I was saying the true thing in that clarity is the empath's weapon, but I was trying to weaponize it or use clarity from a ego-based thought form. I've recently been shown what that same tool, clarity, looks like when it's used through the lens of love rather than from a place of ego, right? And so in writing my books, and that's just the way I get a lot of information, that kind of comes in, was shown in my books that I can use clarity through the lens of love and not fear and ego. And when you use clarity through the lens of love, it lifts everybody in the room up. Everyone, including myself, right? Because I'm not weaponizing and I'm not getting back at people and I'm not being filled with rage and anger and being triggered and being upset. No, I'm lifting everybody in the room up. Everybody, right? And by using clarity to show faith communities who they could be, how loving they can be, and showing them what we queer people need them to be in order to start to heal the trauma. There's not a gay person that I know who's around my age who isn't significantly and irreparably damaged by what they've been told in their faith communities. I don't know a single one. I do not know a single queer person who was raised in a faith community who isn't irreparably damaged. Because the Bible's really clear on who we are, right? When they changed it in the 1940s to reflect a more homophobic, right, church, right? So if they changed it once, can we change it again? Can we move it back to either what it was or at least examine those passages' intention? Was it really about a man lying with a man as an abomination? Was it? I think anybody who's really studied the Bible will say that that is not so, and the changes that they made in the 1940s need to be changed back. And I will help you with that, right? And that's who I want to be. And that's where I want us to go, right? Because everything that I'm doing now doesn't have to just live in service to joy. Now it has to live in service to love. Oh, that seems much bigger. Right? Doesn't it? Doesn't it? I continue to be amazed and overwhelmed by this work. It is so beautiful to me, and I continue to be blessed and lit up. And I want that for you. I want that for all of us. Because until we get a significant portion of the population, right, living their lives and adjudicating the world and assessing it by, is that loving? Rather than, is that good and bad or right or wrong, right? That's an ego thing. We have to put that away. We can no longer have conversations based in good and bad and right and wrong. Because everyone's going to come to the table with a different version of what that means. There's no comparison stick there, right? And so when we get to, is that loving? And everyone can have a comment in terms of, is this decision the most loving one that we can make? Then I think we'll see a more joined America. Just my thoughts. Anyhow, that's where we are today. If you get value out of this, please share my work. I can't do this alone, and I really want this to be something for me in my life. I want to be a public speaker. I want to be an author, and I can't do this without your help. So thank you so much for always being willing to be here for me and to hear what I have to say. All right? Talk to you soon. Bye.